I don't know how much peace I'm gonna get right now because of this and this and this and this and all this. I'm gonna kind of introduce myself. Have I mentioned that I feel very awkward doing this right now in my own apartment with my dogs right behind me? I don't have a microphone either. Just before anyone says that, I lost it. I had like 2 little tiny mics. They can also sound like shit. I thought I had one that plugged in, but it's like to my old iPhone. And then the ones I have for like recording a podcast, if I ever do that, connects to my computer, but I just can't connect it to my phone. I don't really know how to. So I can definitely do like the yapping and eating videos, but it can't really be long form yaps. You know what I mean? I don't even know if I want this fruit. Okay. All right, we're gonna try this all over again. Hello? I literally haven't gotten ready like this. I haven't done like a full beat. I haven't curled my hair since I don't even know when. Like, this is very weird. I'm just trying to manifest that my girlfriend's gonna wanna go to a rooftop tonight with me on a Sunday night because today is my Saturday and I really don't, I'm just like, I'm kind of feeling like a single, okay, you do this every single day. This is your routine right now. And my routine is going to play volleyball in the mornings on Sunday. I come home, I either get drunk with like a friend or 2 or go to brunch, and then I come home and I'm sad and I make a TikTok and then I watch White Lotus and Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm done, okay? I wanna do something different. I'm feeling weird. What I'm doing right now, I wanna do a YouTube vlog. I've been saying it forever. I've been saying I wanna do a lot of fucking things and I haven't done it. And I'm just like sitting on TikTok, like making stupid little videos all the time. And I don't know, everyone's been really fucking nice. Like all the followers and stuff, like they have just been saying they kinda, like they're DMing me too. Podcast, please. I'm like, girl, I don't have the time. I don't have the money right now. Like, if I had the money, I would make the time. But it's kind of like a double-edged sword where I'm like, when the fuck am I gonna do that? Also, I have 3 fucking jobs, okay? My first job, we'll start current issues and then we'll kind of go backwards. But overall, this is an introductory of like who I am and what's going on right now currently in my life. But I love content creating. I love doing this. TikTok was just something that I kind of like threw myself into and it kind of hit. So I would love to continue to make money on that and other platforms and do less for more, you know? I'm starting out with YouTube vlogs after TikTok because TikTok I can do pretty swiftly, pretty easily. I can take a 90-second video and post it when I'm free or have a thought, you know? So I want to kind of put a little bit more time into this aspect, and this is what this is. Going from the beginning of just who I am, and like if anyone has questions or wants to hear more, or like everything that I kind of have been through or who I am to kind of help the future vlogs is what I would like, because I just feel like people don't understand who I am or don't know me at all, and that's very valid and that's very a typical thing I feel like a lot of creators go through. But I just want to like throw that out there first before you like watch any other ones, because I'm a pretty fucking normal person. I have my own struggles, I succeed in certain areas and I don't, you know, in others. So I'm from Chicago, I'm from the south suburbs. I grew up playing softball. That was like my #1 sport that I didn't really always love, but I was just good at it. So I tried to be a swimmer, I tried to be a cheerleader, I tried to play volleyball, and I loved volleyball. But then my aunt was pretty much like, hey, do you want to go to Florida or do you want to try out for your high school volleyball team? And I was like, I want to go to Florida, because I never took vacations because softball was equals life. Growing up, it was a lot of softball, a lot of traveling, a lot of poorness, let me just be honest. Didn't grow up well off by any means. My parents put me through travel softball and did all these things on a good team. So they spent a lot of money for me to pursue that avenue and get a full ride at Drexel University in Philadelphia. Now that whole upbringing at Drexel wasn't what I wanted my college life to be. I knew I wanted to play softball, but I really wanted to play D1 because I felt like I could. So that offer came out of nowhere. It came when I was least expecting it as a softball player. Like, I had a very strict dad when it came to the sport, to say the least. And whenever I had schools that I wanted to go to coming to watch me, I pretty much shit the bed or I'd get anxious and nervous, and there was other factors that were kind of just involved as well. So it just wasn't meant to be, you know? So Drexel saw me, I was playing fucking awesome in Florida, and they literally offered me a full ride because their shortstop got hurt that they were recruiting or something like that. So this is a matcha latte, by the way, and it's really not that good right now. Try not to add as much vanilla, but like, girl, Tastes like grass, but like worse. Dirt. Went to Drexel on a visit. I cried my eyes out on the 12-hour drive there from Chicago and the 12-hour drive back when they offered me a full ride and my parents were high-fiving in the front seat and I was bawling. Looking back at it, obviously, like, I'm glad that I went. I met my best friends to this day. Like, they live down the street from me now in Arizona. God bless. We went through some bullshit. You're gonna see a lot of this too, so just, I'm sure you don't mind. You know what, let me scoot over for you. Let me just check that you're still recording. We're still recording, we're good. At Drexel, we went through some shit, okay? And I'm pretty sure that I can talk with my girlfriend Bailey about the things we went through. My freshman year, I went through so much. In high school, I also tore my labrum in my shoulder. I had surgery, so I also missed out on a crucial recruiting year and was pretty depressed and all the things as an athlete trying to get recruited, you know? Pressure, anxiety, that I didn't even know was anxiety, that back then we weren't just being shoved anxiety pills as a child, you know? We were just kind of forced to go through it, in my opinion. So my girlfriend Bailey and I'm sure we can have a whole sit down of just like our college experience and college athletics in general. College athletics and how, you know, athletic departments treat their athletes has always been a staple in like who I am. Long story short, this is a crazy fucking story and there's so much more that goes into it, but I'll just let you know, like, I did not have a great softball career at Drexel. I went through basically 3 coaches while I was there. The coach that recruited me left as soon as I basically signed my papers. So I had a brand new coach my freshman year. My freshman year, the coach was a 27-year-old head coach and terrible, okay? I don't even give a fuck. Terrible. Also tore my hip labrums like the first few weeks of the practices and whatnot. So I tried to play the most I could with the hip labrums being torn, but then I literally it was maybe in March, we were starting playing like our preseason games and whatnot, and I literally was at third base and went to go get a bunt, and I just collapsed on the field because my hip literally gave out. So I would wrap them up with ace bandages, do all the things, but it was so torn, like I couldn't even walk. So I walked with like a limp, and I also walked pigeon-toed with limps in whichever hip hurt more because both of them were severely torn. So that was my freshman year, and I got them fixed. Got one fixed in March, right? Then I kind of booked it in Chicago, got a really great surgeon, and got the deed done. Came back, there was some bullshit going on with the softball team. Whatever, moving forward in August, I got the other hip done because I went through the 6 months of recovery with my first hip, and then they're like, all right, let's go do the other one. Like, they pretty much asked me which one hurt worse, and I was like, my left one. So we did my left first, my right second. So coming back from that was tough. Obviously, I had a coach that really fucking ruined my swing, and to the day I die, like, you fucked things up, okay? And you fucked things up in more than one aspect, but I don't know, as a coach currently, I don't know why people try to change or fix what's not broken. They want it all to be one fucking fluid way, and in the game of softball, not everyone is the same. Obviously, if you guys watch MLB, if you watch other pro softball or softball, college baseball, like, you fucking know that every player is different, what feels good for them. It's a mental game, so if I don't feel good, I'm not gonna fucking play good. It's just common sense, but not to a lot of coaches, so, well, I'll just say that. So my third year, my junior, we did 5 years, and that was a choice because we got more internships out of it, and I just realized my window is over there. It's open, and there's people at the pool, and they might hear my whole story, so let me go close that real quick. Okay, I'm back. My third year, my junior year, I came in, I was kind of like I am today, where I just have no nonsense, I speak my mind, no bullshit, and came back, and I fixed my swing from my coach fucking it up completely. So I fixed my swing with the coach over the summer in Chicago and felt so fucking good. In fall ball, I was like hitting home runs in our scrimmages and like against each other and in practice. Like, I was just like seeing it really well. I was cocky, okay? And I basically was that kind of teammate that was sticking up for everyone else. It wasn't even my issue, but I'd be like, hey, coach, that was wrong. You said this, and that was really fucked up. And she said so many fucked up things. I will do a whole fucking thing on that if you want to hear. But the one that sticks out to me most with Bailey, my best friend, is me and her were sitting there waiting for our turn to hit, like in the cages or something. And she literally looked at us, our head coach, and she goes, I'm going to start recruiting more lesbians because they actually know how to play the game. Sick. So because I'm straight and I like men, I can't play the game of softball. Noted, okay? our head coach was a lesbian. So if that has to say anything, I don't know. Moving forward, I was just like always in her ear, like sticking up for the team and being that fucking annoying person. So when you can imagine when the group me screenshots of our group me chat were sent to our head coach by, we know who it is to this day, but whatever. She got a hold of the group me text, and I was a sport management major at Drexel, so I was actually in an NCAA compliance class, and this coach has broken so many NCAA compliance classes that she's been caught for, and she hasn't been caught for at this point. So we were all kind of complaining as a team about like our individual hours and how we were practicing so much during our finals period where you're not supposed to really practice that much. And I literally said a statement in an NCAA compliance handbook. Like, that's all I said. Other people were like, Coach cunt, Coach blah, blah, blah. And she brought me in with a meeting. She let me go from the team. And she said, I think you have a plot to get me fired. And she said, if you don't sign this paper right now, we're gonna take your scholarship for the rest of the year away. I was like, what? Okay. And I was also in a business law class at that point, and we were talking about like economic duress, and you can't force someone to sign a document under like a financial pressure being, the form of signing or whatever. So in my head, I'm like, yeah, fuck you. So I signed it and I threw it back in her face, and I was like, I didn't have a plan to get you fired, but now I do. So got let go from the team. Another girl got let go from the team, kicked off the team, and 3 other girls, the ones that were saying like Coach cunt, blah, 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 kind of yapping a lot, they only got probation. I really stuck my foot in my mouth during that time period. I was very depressed. Went back home for winter break, and my entire team kind of rebelled against the coach. Long story short. Again, I said that earlier, but it's kind of a long story, but I have to get to it, I feel like, because it really shaped me as a person. I went home, my team, we were all like trying to figure out what to do next, because I was a leader on the team and I stuck up for everyone. So everyone was really pissed off that I was obviously off the team, because I was the mouthpiece at that point, and I was upset because I felt so good athletically like that year, and then that's what happened. Basically, I would meet with one of my professors every, maybe twice a week after our classes, and she was very, into the sports media, like Jameis Winston eating crab legs. Like, she wrote an article on it, like back in the day. Like, she had avenues to get information out if needed, and I would always bring like my own experience into my classes and kind of discuss them and say, see what's right, what's wrong. And she was always like, what the hell? Like, that's crazy. I'm like, yeah, I know. Moving on. So we printed out the whole handbook, and we just kind of highlighted through things that she broke, blah, blah, blah. Like, we did more of like that kind of work together. And then the rest of my team, we got alumni writing their statements of like what they went through, because there were so many stories, like I said, that our athletic department pretty much said was hearsay. So it was like, all right, well, if 10 fucking athletes are saying it, how can that be hearsay? But whatever. We were like, you know what, fuck it, let's just try our best to get all this information. So alumni were writing letters, we were writing letters, current teammates were writing letters just to validate everyone's experience and things that happened to us. We sat there, we did it, we had text messages that, our coach said to certain players, and emails, and whatever was crossing the line, we printed them out, we had them all ready to go. And we had literally a stack like this full of papers of stories, emails, texts, whatever. The handbook highlighted, blah, blah, blah. And the athletic department kept ignoring us. Call a fucking spade a spade here. And I went to my professor and I was like, hey, they're ignoring us. Like, what do we do? Like, what are our next steps? And she said, okay, write an email up, pretty much say, if they do not listen to you guys, that we will take everything, our experiences, to the media, straight to the media. Literally within 10 minutes, they replied to us saying, okay, can you all meet at 5 p.m. in this room, blah, blah, blah. We're like, yeah, fucking holy shit. So the whole, like, whatever girls are on our side are pretty much like, we're meeting, we're discussing all of it, what we're gonna say to our athletic director, because we finally have ears to listen to our perspectives. And we were all being verbally, physically, like emotionally abused at this point. My one friend actually medical redshirt for mental health. We had another freshman when I was on that same year that was literally in the hospital for suicide prevention. So it was actually terrible, miserable. I don't even never want to go back to that period of my life ever again. We did the meeting, and we handed the athletic director this stack of papers like this, and we're like, here. And he was like, holy shit. And then we went around the room, and we each had which story we were going to tell him that we thought was the most valid. And he would be like, all right, who else was there? And we would raise our hands if we were there to like kind of validate it. He was like, all right, I promise you I'm going to look at everything you guys wrote and like you gave me, and I'll have a decision for tomorrow. Literally the next day, he fired the entire fucking staff immediately. They didn't bring me back for that season for some fucking reason, and then they took 10 grand away from me for the next 2 years. So that's the student loans I'm pretty much paying right now. That's that. Clearly, I was very happy that I used my sport management degree to kind of help us find justice in a way. And I learned a lesson of not to maybe be that spokesperson for everyone, because it did hurt me, obviously. So only when it's right will I stick up for people and do all of that kind of stuff, but I'm not going to be the annoying bitch who does it for everyone because they can't speak up for themselves. I was just young and, wanted to be the hero, I feel like, for everyone. So I learned a lesson there for sure. Then I worked for the professional softball team in Chicago called the Chicago Bandits. I was a director of game day operations there. I ran pretty much everything on the game floor, stadium-wise, and in the press box. So it was the job of like 10 full-time employees for the entry-level salary of what started out to be $32,500. Saying that out loud is like actually fucking mind-blowing, because what does $32,500 pay for? Seriously. At that point, I did have a $500 a month rent apartment, but it turned out to have like mold in it. It was just, there was no dishwasher, there was no laundry in unit, there was like nothing good about it. It was just a piece of shit down the street that I had to live in for a cheap rent. And that's why I think at this point in my life, I'm gonna pay for a nicer apartment at this point. I mean, I really can't save for a house at this moment because I did get into credit card debt when I moved here. I'll get into that. I feel like I've been through so much and I've worked really hard, and I want to enjoy something, and I want to live nice as I possibly can. Let's check this is still recording. Yep, we're still recording. Thank fuck. Can you imagine? I'd be like, what the fuck? Chicago Bandits, that ended poorly. COVID hit as well, and I adopted Bandit right before COVID hit, and he was the mascot for the Chicago Bandits. So I'm so blessed that that happened, because I really don't know if I ever would have got a dog. I would have been that same person who was like, I'm gonna wait until I get a house. Well, girl, you're 30 and you still don't have a house, and there is no plans for it in the future at the moment. So I'm glad that, I got Bandit as a companion, and then Bo came into my life in May. It's been a lot, but it's been really fucking awesome. I love them to death. They are my boys. Once I lost my job in 2020, I was also a coach, and I coached like 3 full nights, like gave private lessons for softball, hitting, fielding, throwing, and I was making really good money, and I kept the coaching up. And then I worked as a server downtown Chicago. I also served growing up for like 10 years prior to that. So I was like, oh, this is easy. And I just loved being downtown Chicago, or having a reason to go out there. And I just met so many great people in that whole like 8 months that I was there. Like I wish that restaurant was here in Arizona, because I would still serve, because it was just so fun. It was such a great experience. I love everyone at the Vig in Chicago and Old Town. It was the best time like of my life. Like that, seriously, that was such great people, such good vibes. I made great money. I moved to Arizona. I had $12,000 saved. I had to say goodbye to all the kids that I was coaching, and it was really hard, but my mom was pretty much the one who was like, I'm moving to Arizona. And I was like, fuck, okay. Never been there, but let me go see if I would want to do that too, because this is the perfect time. I also was interviewing for ESPN Chicago at this point. It was like a 3-month-long fucking process, and they ended up hiring from within. I don't know, it was just a whole ass, and then I wanted to start a podcast, but I had no fucking business doing that at that point, and everything kind of fell through, and I was just like, where the fuck do I go next? The pro softball team was like my comfort zone. I was an intern there throughout college. I didn't know what to do. And I didn't know if I wanted to do anything in professional sports again, because it's hectic. Long hours, not a lot of pay. You gotta start from the ground up. I didn't know if I wanted to do that with the Arizona Cardinals or whatever, but basically worked at the Vig for 8 months, and then I just kind of had in my head hey, I'm picking November, and by November, after my friend's wedding, I'm gonna be gone. I moved to Arizona in November of 2021. It's been over 3 years now that I've lived here, and I love it so much. I don't know if I'll ever leave, to be fair. I applied to Fox and I got that job, but that was also a 2-month, 3-month process of me actually starting. So when I got here, I was a typical dumb 27-year-old in Old Town, just kind of partying it up. I had some girlfriends that, wanted men to buy them drinks all the time. And then I would fucking go to a new club, and buy the first round for all the girls, because I didn't want to be that girl just mooching off of men for drinks. But every once in a while, for sure. But not make it a mission. It just wasn't me. So I would always fucking bite the bullet and put it on the credit card, thinking that I had fuck you, softball, coaching, and restaurant serving money. And I didn't. Everything just kind of went, down from there. with the current job that I have, it's more than 32.5. Holy fuck. Seriously, no, I couldn't do that. It's, you know, with inflation and everything and rent prices and everything else, like it wouldn't be supporting my lifestyle on its own. That's why I still coach, and that's why also I'm really hoping that content creating and TikTok does take off. Even if I make $100 off TikTok, it helps. When I have some videos that pop off, it's very, very, very helpful. I'm trying to pay off the credit cards, that's the whole thing, or the whole goal, I guess, and just do the best I can. But my full-time job, I rotate shifts and days off every 10 weeks, so it's very hard to find a second job if I did. That's why coaching is very flexible, because I kind of pick the hours and then my head coach works with me because I do good work. So that's very helpful at the moment, and I'm very happy that I have that, because other, you know, coordinators in my position, they don't really have that opportunity to find something that's very flexible. And I didn't when I first moved here either. I was very under the water, trying to keep my head above water, and I was just like drowning financially. I thankfully like walked into a boutique and he desperately needed help, and I was like, hey, I just have really like unflexible hours, like, are you okay with that? And he was like, yeah. So that helped me in the beginning. And then I kind of was in a relationship that I just like stayed inside and didn't do anything. I gained 30 pounds. I was in such a weird headspace where I moved here, I had a group of friends, and then I all of a sudden didn't have this group of friends. I had a boyfriend who we just didn't have the same core values. Looking back at it, like I wanted to do things for myself that like he didn't want to, and vice versa. And it just ended up being like it just ended up kind of exploding in a way of, holy fuck, what am I doing? I reached out to this contact that I had, and I didn't do it while I was in the relationship, and then I was like, holy shit, I can do this again. So I started the coaching up again, and now I have more clients and I'm getting more private lessons, and it's great. But I just was in a hole in the beginning, and I mentally, physically, emotionally, I was like, I can't fit into any jeans at all. These jeans were the only jeans I could fit into because they were so stretchy, but I had 30 extra pounds all right here and in my face. That was just a really dark time. So I really prioritize now taking care of myself, because I feel the best I ever have, mentally, emotionally, physically. I play volleyball, and I actually see my friends. I didn't see my friends when I was in the relationship either. I just really pigeonholed myself, and I'll never do that again. It's very important to have other friends. It's important to go out. It's important to like have someone who supports you and wants you to be better, but also wants to better themselves, because it's very hard to want to better myself when your partner doesn't really feel that way about themselves, you know? So I'm just kind of learning as I'm here in Arizona, and I've learned so much about myself. And I feel like, especially on TikTok with like the following I have right now, I just feel like people are relating to that, and I'm here to be open about it. I've never been a closed book. I've always been very open about everything, maybe too open, some would say. I'm very excited to try this out and see if it sticks, because I just feel a little bit like of a pep in my step thinking about it. Everyone that's like kind of been along with me, friends, followers, like I think that, you know, I really appreciate you, and I'm here for whatever the fuck this is. If it's anything, I hope it's something. Like, if anyone watches this, seriously, it'll make my year. But I basically, like, for the future vlogs, I kind of talk about it a little bit, but I don't really know which direction to go in. Like, I barely saw friends this week because I work so fucking much and coach so much, and I play volleyball because that's really something that makes me very happy. So I just don't know. I'm really trying to do the best I can with the time that I have. This is the first time getting ready and putting on like a cute outfit in so fucking long. Like too long. I would just love any feedback, and I appreciate you for watching if you've gotten this far. And I could really yap, so yeah. Sorry, Bill. I love you guys so fucking much though. Like, this is super fun for me. I know that was all very, very heavy, but like, fuck. I appreciate the fuck out of you.